It is a pleasure to be back on an IAB stage, and I look forward to telling you more about Digital Turbine over the next few minutes. But before I do that, a question. How many people, raise your hands, have seen the movie Moneyball? Good. What does Brad Pitt in Moneyball, who had a horrible baseball team with a record of 65-97, have in common with brand buyers whose campaigns may be under-delivering to a substantial part of their audience? Anyone want to venture a guess? In Moneyball, Brad Pitt used something called sabermetrics, behavioral metrics, to better understand how his players could come together to execute upon a common goal, winning a championship. I, over the next 20 minutes, want to take you on a journey that by the end of it has you understanding that mobile games is not just a nice thing to invest in as a media buyer, but a must thing to do as a media buyer in order to adequately reach and engage any target audience that you want. I will do that on a 20-minute journey where 3 steps. First, I will tell you a bit more about NextGen analytics. I will dive deeper into the consequences of not buying mobile games that we expose with NextGen analytics. And finally, I will speak about Digital Turbine and how we work with global brands around the world to up your level of success in reaching those aforementioned audiences. So first, a little bit about NextGen analytics. We all know in this room, we have customers who shift back and forth between using social media and using mobile games. Using social media, using mobile games. There's no doubt there. We've seen enough research on that. The question, however, is, do we have customers that actually spend more time using mobile games than the media that you are currently buying, social and YouTube? And what's the consequence of that? The obvious hypothesis would be, boy, if people are spending time in the media that I'm not buying, the media that I am buying is going to have a tough time reaching and engaging them. So that's where we're going to spend our time, because we realize there is a major gap in the industry's knowledge of where mobile games are, will be, and should be executing with your brands. The question is, how well are the ads that you may be buying in Twitter, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, how well are those actually reaching this audience of people that's spending more time inside of mobile games? And how many of them are there? Is this a small problem or a massive problem that would be requisite for you to address as part of your media campaign? So in order to address this gap in the industry, Digital Turbine went off and sponsored a 6-month behaviorally tracking research, where we worked with the company Curious Insight, who has built out a massive panel of 100,000 people that are using or have installed the Curious app on their device, which gives the research company permissions to see that this woman started her day with Instagram, but quickly went off to look at Amazon to see if she can do some shopping, then played Wordscape, one of our partners, and then ultimately drove to Walmart because the app is measuring her location, spent an hour and a half inside of Walmart, went back to work, invested in her workday, but took a break and played Candy Crush or play Uno, and then ultimately saw a bunch of ads during the day. So this company, Curious Insight, allows us to, within the social world, to see the ads that that person saw, or, as you'll find out soon, did not actually see. Everybody with me? We decided to look at 8 different brands and the entertainment category. They collected billions of data points that they provide back to us in a live dashboard here. You can see the type of data that's collected. It's not an eye test. This is really just to show that there's a massive amount of data behind what I'm about to boil down in a handful of slides. So let's take a look at the consequences of this shift. 1, in the United States, where this study was done, 33% of US consumers are what we call mobile gaming dominant. Mobile gaming dominant doesn't mean that I don't use Instagram or X, but it means that I spend more time in aggregate playing mobile games on my phone than I do combining social and YouTube. 85 million in the US, 33% of the population spend more time on their devices playing mobile games than social and YouTube combined, which is probably where your ads are placed. And if you count the number of ads, your ads, that they see in social and YouTube, when they go use social and YouTube, and they do, they see 36% fewer. So that, overall, you start to say, boy, maybe my ads aren't reaching adequately or engaging the target audiences of so many people aren't actually seeing the ads. But you might say, pump your brakes, Greg. That's not enough for me to start shifting my dollars because, one, this is the UK and the UK is different. Two, averages are kind of meh. I need more data relevant to my category, more data relevant to my brand. And finally, another hypothesis might be, Greg, I don't really care if my brand doesn't reach mobile gamers because mobile gamers are weirdos. They're not my customers. They're not the valuable customers my brand is looking to reach. They're not the customers I want to conquest and bring over. I don't really care about them. So what I want to do over the next few minutes is to look at each of those three and debunk those myths, and then we'll dive into Digital Turbine. So while we did this study in the US, looking at January to June data, we also did a complementary study that's not behavioral tracking, but traditional survey research. And if you were to do some mumbo jumbo and say, okay, the US is average, the question is, what does the UK look like? And guess what? The UK is almost as heavily invested in mobile games as is the US. I'm happy to share all the insights and structure behind this, but the point is, for number one, the UK is different. Not really. Similar, very, very similar. The second point is, Greg, averages, whatever, I'm at Amazon. And I need to know what it's like for my customers at Amazon. So folks at Amazon or serving Amazon probably know that they've got a lot of customers playing Magic 8 Ball, a game in our portfolio. But what you don't know is how well are the ads being bought in social and YouTube effectively reaching this audience that's mobile gaming dominant. They play games more. And more importantly, you don't know how big is that audience. Well, you do now. The ads that Amazon placed from the data and the research that we did in the first half of the year reached this mobile gaming dominant audience 43% lower than the reach across all their campaigns for the rest of their customers. Take all your customers, put them into two buckets, the ones that play games more than social and YouTube, and then all your other guys. Look at your ads. You reached the mobile gaming segment 43% lower. And that is a massive number of people that are not seeing and engaging in your ads. 43 million in the US. If we were to map that over, following some math jujitsu to the UK, 8 million people underserved in the UK, assuming that the ad strategy in the UK was the same as the ad strategy in the US, which we do not know, but we're just modeling it out. So massive opportunity. Similar, if you are with a fabric care brand like Tide, you know that a lot of your target audience plays wordscapes. Did you know that your reach into that audience is 56% lower than your reach into the rest of the people, called the normal people? And did you know that that means it's 4 million people in your target audience that are being underserved in the US, or approximately 700,000 following the same math in the UK? If you were Universal or Warner Brothers or Sony Pictures, you know that you've got a lot of customers playing Magic Tiles, another premium game within our partnerships. But did you know that trying to reach those, the cinematography ads, trying to reach this mobile gaming segment, your reach into that segment, 58% lower than how well your ads are reaching the rest of your audience. It's no different than men versus women and saying, boy, you're reaching the women is really, really good, but you're reaching the guys, something's wrong. Same thing is happening, dividing your audience into these two different groups. For cinematography, 25 million people being underserved, underreached, less frequency. In the UK, that maps to about 5 million people being underserved, being underengaged. Finally, let's end with the QSR category, McDonald's. McDonald's knows that a big part of their audience plays Tetris and other premium games within the Digital Turbine premium supply. But you might not know that the ads that McDonald's served in the US in the first half of the year reached 63% fewer people that are mobile gaming heavy than the rest of their audience. And this makes sense. I know I'm going through it very fast, but really, because games are used so heavily, people spending, this audience of mobile gaming dominant people spend 3 times as much time in mobile games than they do in the media that you're buying. And that sets up this reality that in the case of McDonald's means that there's 30 million people being underserved ads for overcooked hamburgers. In the UK, that translates to about 8 million. Now, the last gotcha was, well, gamers are meh, right? Gamers are not the core audience that my brand or that I want to go after. They are less valuable. They are younger. They are older. They are less intent on buying my particular product. Now, there are lots of ways to measure that. Again, working with the behavioral company, we can track, did I go to a movie theater? Did I open up a Fandango app? Did I visit a Sony Pictures movie screener? Did I do any of these things that would then be rolled up? And you could see all of this brand behavior, all of this category behavior. You can group people into 3 buckets: high-value people, medium-value people, and low-value people based on how much they're engaging with the offering. And what we see is it doesn't matter if you are a mobile gaming dominant person or all the other customers, the mix of customer value, low, medium, high, it's different, sure, but it's more or less the same. In the case of Amazon, this mix of low, medium, high value customers found within the mobile gaming dominant segment versus found within the rest of your customers, different, certainly, but pretty attractive. And finally, with McDonald's, same thing. So 3 reasons why you might not believe the findings at a high level, but broken down to give just one conclusion and 2 choices. What's the conclusion? It's a missed opportunity. What are your 2 choices for people in this room? Choice number 1, to say to yourself, I don't give a shit, that I do not need to address this. I can continue to serve my brands and my goals without investing the mobile gaming opportunity. The second is to say, interesting trends, Greg. I would like to get my shift together and figure out how to enhance and level up my campaigns by integrating the mobile gaming opportunity. And that brings us to a quick summary of how Digital Turbine is working with brands around the world to do exactly that. If you don't know Digital Turbine, several years ago we bought the companies Ad Colony and Fiber, which had greater brand recognition. Digital Turbine historically worked with wireless carriers, and through those wireless carriers, we have developed a rich set of data that we deploy for audience targeting. So, for brands that are looking to address the shift in their consumers' time into mobile games, we offer three things. The first is massive incremental reach, 1.2 billion monthly uniques, but more importantly, addressing the potential gaps that you have in your media plan by reaching the customers, consumers that your existing plans might otherwise miss out on. And we can do that through our premium supply, where we have curated the best of the best mobile games, which delivers a frequency twice the average, twice the daily open average across the entire gaming category by having those high quality premium game brands that people love. The second thing that we deliver for brands is greater efficiency. In the increasing climate of supply path optimization and being green, because of our direct SDK integrations into 80,000 different apps and mobile games, we offer very clean, highly efficient buys available through all the omnis and other buying channels, and available on the open exchange in custom PMPs and through managed services. So highly efficient. And finally, we deliver greater ad effectiveness. And we're going to dig into this in a little bit, but through a full suite of ad experience, from banners to highly interactive video campaigns, which we will show you shortly, we deliver chart-topping results. Earlier, I was in the back, in the green room, but I heard someone talking about user-initiated video, which is our bread and butter for delivering killer brand lift impact. And in those experiences, you're seeing somebody here dying or hurting themselves in Subway Surfer, and they have the opportunity to watch a video to gain extra currency. And seamlessly, we have an ad from H&M, full screen, sound on, the device is on sound, the ad is on sound, playing without the ability to skip. And more importantly, as I think someone, again, I was backstage, but I believe somebody was talking about the emotional state that somebody is in as you pause between levels of a game. Games are the only place really in media where you have this user-initiated opportunity. I'm going to play a couple more experiences. This is an ad for Meta and Instagram. Again, using here the existing video that might otherwise be playing inside of YouTube or inside of Facebook, but then seamlessly adding on to it, if you so choose, an interactive experience here, a gallery that allows the consumer to learn more, taking our creative team, if you so choose, works with you to develop the custom post-video experience. It's like a QR code on steroids, right? Seamlessly driving down to the content that you would want. Another ad here for La Roche-Posay.
Up to 3 times less breakouts. 24-hour hydration. Unclogs pores to help prevent spots. #1 dermatologist recommended skincare brand.
Again, full screen, sound on, the same asset that you would be playing elsewhere. We place at a highly attentive location in between mobile games. And this person here now is engaging in, or starting to engage, I think he's actually trying to pronounce the words before he actually taps on it. Niacinamide, salicylic acid. But here he's engaging and he can tap on these and actually learn more about the product qualities. Driving home that brand knowledge, driving home everything that you would want your ad to do, but you can't squeeze it into a 30-second video, as well as adding the ability to have a video gallery to have the person that wants to learn more actually learn more. I started the example with a movie, Moneyball. I'm going to end the demos with a TV show. Anyone watch this TV show?
Welcome to the 40.
Anybody see our ad, didn't watch a TV show?
The money and keep hold of it.
So this is an ad for the Fortune Hotel.
Nothing.
Again, same video that you would run in other programmatic channels,
Chance to win a fortune.
bought programmatically. But at the end of this, you'll see several features that drive the extra brand boost you want. One, you'll see countdown timer. You see that last actually. Multiple trailer thumbnails, but then you'll see a mini game. And we all have seen this game. We all know it's going to happen, right? What's interesting about these game mechanics, whether you're doing a Subway Surfer or you're doing this Follow the Magic Ball game, these core game mechanics, everybody recognizes. And putting your brand inside of this game mechanic allows you to create a brand halo, as we have other research that supports that. All right, so what happens when you take those premium ad experiences that I just showed you and put them in these premium supply at natural breaks in time? What happens is you get chart-topping impacts. I don't have time to talk about all of them. I'll quickly talk about two. We did a study recently with one of our partners in measurement companies showing here the VTR, view-through rates of how consumers pay attention to these ads for the entire 60 or 30 seconds, much better than the ads placed within social media and YouTube. And finally, we released a study about 3 months ago with a college right up the road, where they analyzed 250 campaigns, 142 brands across a bunch of categories, and showed that the brand choice intent of the experiences that you just saw are off the chart. What's in common? Brad Pitt used behavioral metrics to turn his losing team into a winning team. Brands have the same opportunity to use behavioral analytics to up-level their success with their advertisers. I want to thank you very much. We have a booth, and we would love to go shoot the shit. Appreciate your time.
I guess the obvious question, there's so many similarities between the US and what we do here.
Could you see something like that? Oh, could you see something like that working on a bigger scale for international markets like the UK?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, doing that type of study that we shared in the U.S. is it's a difficult study to do, expensive study to do, but we think the industry needs it. So we are trying to, in different countries, replicate at that fidelity, but where we can't, we've already begun to invest through traditional research methods to replicate it actually in 16 markets.
Nice.
So that across the world, you'd be able to have quantifiable tracking data measuring the percent of your audience that is using media that you may not be buying.
Amazing. We've got to get you back next year to come and talk about the UK stuff. Amazing. That's done. Everyone, massive hand for Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you.